are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Sorry about that. My chair got all messed up. Anyways, you guys, we got a very special solo show today. And it's one of those, I'm trying to once a week or once every other week keep a solo show and just kind of do some like real talk stuff. And, whether it's out here for, sales or, building your business or anything like that, and just kind of choose a topic and really dive in on that. And, I had my buddy Tristan on yesterday. He owns a trucking company. And then I did a pre-recorded episode, which we're going to be releasing here in a couple of weeks last night. And it just really got me thinking a lot about kind of like just like the real side of being your own boss. And, because we were talking about some of those stories and it just kind of hit me a little bit, because like I see a lot of this out there across all of social media right now. And, I think it's really important to just to kind of address some of these, what I feel like are misconceptions about being your own boss, and really what it takes to go out there and build something of substance, right? That's just what we're going to talk about, because at the end of the day, you guys, there's so much information that is coming at us at any given moment. And I'm just going to talk about it from my perspective. So, before we go into any of this, I do want to say, my team behind the scenes always tells me to say this at the beginning of the show as well here, you guys. If you get value in what you hear today and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling really ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, your network's going to see value as well. So today's episode, like I had said, we're going to talk about this. And, and I think it's also really important to bring this up with everything that's going on that I see out there. Hold on, you guys. I got freight moving right now. I got to take care of this. This is why you guys tune into this show, you guys, because I'm actually fucking doing the work here as well. We got freight that we're trying to cover. We got same day loads picking up, deliveries happening, all of that stuff. And, again, it leads right in, because like you see a lot of like hustle culture out there, and you see a lot of stuff, and it's true, but it's also kind of like overblown. Like nobody works 24/7, 365, right? And anybody who says that they do is just trying to put on a facade on social media for whatever reason, right? Because like I think the most important thing that I have done inside of my business and like staying self-employed for as long as I have, right? Because like I've been at this now for over 5 years, and that's a big feat, right? Like, to me, the most important thing of why I've been able to do that is like I've had to reinvent myself as a man. Okay. Because Chris Jolly of 5, 6, 7 years ago couldn't cut it for what I go through now on a daily basis. Right. So like I had to reinvent myself as a person to make this work. And, I think when you go out there on your own for the first time, the allure of freedom, being your own boss, doing your own thing is intoxicating. All right. And it's really intoxicating when you're getting a salary coming through every couple of weeks, right? Like direct deposit coming in, really, really intoxicating to be your own boss. It all sounds good. But one of the biggest hurdles you're going to have to overcome when you're going out there on your own is you have to build a structure and a system to follow of productivity. And more days than not, I'm doing something for my business, right? Like I might not be at work, but I'm doing something to progress myself as a leader, as a person, self-education, it doesn't matter. I'm doing something for that, right? So I would say if you're out there considering this, you got to build the structure that you can follow, because that is one thing that is a big misconception is a lot of people come and they're working for an established organization that's been around for 20, 30 years or longer or whatever. There's a structure and a system that you're operating in, and you overlook what system you're operating in, right? Like if you've never had to check credit before on a customer, or if you've never had to get insurance before or pay for technology and all of that stuff, that is an eye-opening experience, right? So as you're going out there, and then again, the gift and the curse of being self-employed is you don't have to answer to anybody, right? Nobody's wearing you out telling you, hey man, get up and go up to work. And you can find yourself in situations of I'll just do it later, right? And that's something that again, I would be lying if I didn't fall victim to that inside of this journey, right? Because I feel like most of us are inherently lazy. I am. I'll admit it. I'm inherently lazy. I don't want to do shit, like I like to work, but like, man, hanging out and doing nothing is pretty cool at the same time too, right? So I had to build a structure around my day to follow that every single day. So I have a couple of core pillars that I follow. And that is, I get up at the exact same time every single day. All right. I set my alarm. I get up every single day. I go to the gym first thing in the morning. Now, the times that I'm going to tell you about what I do is not required. You do not have to get up at these times to experience success or because you're out on your own. All right. I personally choose this because this is hard for me. All right. I am naturally a morning person. So getting up by 5 a.m. is not hard for me at all. I've been a morning person my entire life. But setting my alarm for 3 a.m., that is hard. All right. Getting out of bed at 3 in the morning every day sucks more days than not. But I do that because I like to do hard things first. Second, I go to the gym every morning, 4 a.m. All right. Weekends, it's 5 a.m. because the gym doesn't open until 5 a.m. that I go to. But again, not required to get up early and to do that. But this is the structure that I follow of knowing that, like, no matter what happens at work that day, I know I did some stuff to better myself for the day. A really good program for a lot of you to look into is called 75 Hard. You've probably heard of it, but if you haven't, check it out. There's a couple of follow Andy Frisella, the Real AF podcast. He talks about that on there. There's dedicated episodes on there to talk about that, because this is kind of like the journey and the structure that I've built is very similar to that of the 75 Hard program. But again, I get up early. I do that because I like to keep my mornings kind of for me, because that's like my reprieve, my break from a lot of the stuff out there. Not all days are like that, because there are, as a lot of who work in transportation, there's a lot of days that start very early for me, and that's fine. This is the life that I signed up for. But again, I know that that's a pillar inside of my day that I follow. And another thing that I do every single day as well is I read the Bible. All right. I've been told by numerous people I shouldn't talk about this on my podcast, but frankly, I don't give a fuck if you stop listening to me because I say that I read the Bible and I believe in God. All right. If that's you, that's all you. I'm not here to tell you what to believe in or what to do, but this is important to me. And it's a pillar that I follow every single day. And I will unapologetically talk about what I do on a day-to-day basis out there. But with that being said, all right, get up at the same time, go to the gym at the same time, read the Bible. Those are my pillars that I follow every single day inside of my structure. And then again, I show up to my office at the exact same time every single day. I am at my desk by no later than 6:30 a.m. every single morning. And I am here till at least 3:30, depending on the freight, depending on the work, right? Because again, I work until my shippers are done for the day. And then I go home, right? And then I'll do some stuff at my house for if anything pops up. But that's the system that I'm going to follow out there. And that is a big area where a lot of you, if you're thinking about going out on your own, you're going to struggle with right away, because you're operating in somebody else's system. You have to be to work by 7 a.m. You have to do certain tasks throughout the day by certain times. And when you're out on your own, you might not be doing that, right? You might not be following that. So I would advise that right away is follow that structure. Okay. And then build that up and follow that. And then again, the next part of it is your day is going to be, it's going to be empty right away. All right. When you're building something up, And again, even if you bring an established book of business and you're going out and becoming a freight agent or whatever it is that you're going to be finding yourself in, uh, it's going to be lonely out there. All right. You're not going to be as busy as you think. All right. I don't know how some people can post on social media 80 times in a day and have a day job. I truly don't understand it. Again, maybe they're just better than me, but I don't have time for that anymore out there. So, but I did early on, right? Like, cause I had a lot of empty time on my schedule because you can only send so many emails in a day and you can only make so many cold calls in a day before the mental side of things start to creep up, right? Because that's one thing that's never talked about out there in regards to building anything or doing anything is the human emotion factor, which plays in way, way more than you think, and especially early on. And that is, it's mastering that. It truly is, you guys. It's mastering the emptiness that you're going to experience because you're not going to be as busy as you think because you're going to put a lot of effort forward, and putting a ton of effort forward is never going to go away, you guys, but you're going to put a lot of effort forward right away and there's not going to be a lot of return. And especially if you take the route that I did where you had no guaranteed customers, right? So both of the businesses that I've started from scratch, I had zero revenue guaranteed. All right. Everything that I have built has come from working very hard and it taking way longer than I had thought to get to a point of sustainability, I'll call it. And it's one of those things that you got to, again, this all goes back to the importance of the system that you operate in. Okay. And then I'm going to go into a couple of steps here that I think would be very beneficial for you if you're going to go out there, right? Because there's just so much stuff out there, you guys, that make this seem so much easier than it really is. All right. And then on paper, right, everything's easy. Hey, you can make all this money. You have all this free. Everything sounds great until you're in it and you're not as busy as you were when you were working for somebody else. You don't have any money coming in anymore. Maybe those customers that said they were going to come with you didn't come with you. And, there's a bunch of different variables that can come into play here, you guys. No matter how great a relationship is, things are going to happen and you need to be prepared for things that are going to happen. So, with that being said, again, back to that structure, I would highly advise if you're going to go out at all, don't quit your day job. All right. Do not quit your day job until you have a sustainable business coming in. Have your, as everybody says, that side hustle or whatever, whether you're working on it in the mornings or at night. Don't quit your day job, you guys, until you have a sustainable business coming in and like some actual guaranteed revenue. I want to start with that. And again, do you at the end of the day, but I would not advise walking away from any of that until you have a sustainable business that comes with it. Because when you're out here and you're out on your own, you guys, nobody's telling you to make sales calls. Nobody's out there trying to push marketing. You got to do this all on your own, right? Because you wear every single hat that there is. Even if you're going to go out there and be a freight agent, you guys, like no one's going to do your shit for you. All right. No one's going to market for you. No one's going to sell for you. You have to do that and you have to build a system around that. All right. And that's why I talk about those fundamentals of if you've never made sales calls before, right? Because like there's a big difference out there between the individuals who have built a book of business and who have acquired a book of business through attrition. And I'm going to explain the difference there, right? Because I know a lot of people in this industry who clearly have never built a book of business, right? I can tell it's pretty evident because there's a different hustle and drive that comes from starting something from scratch and cold and zero revenue and building it up day one, dollar one, as opposed to acquiring a book of business from an established company or being fed accounts that have freight that maybe have become dormant and stuff like that, because like that's not as hard. All right. I'm just going to be honest. You can hate me for it. That's not as hard. There's a difference between being an account manager and going out there and hustling to build it up from scratch. Okay. Both people hold a value to an organization, but when you're going to go out on your own, and if you've acquired a book of business through attrition and you never actually cold called before, it's a lot more challenging than you think, right? Because I feel like it's just like you appreciate a dollar a lot more when you work for it as opposed to when somebody gives it to you. And the same thing goes for developing a book of business and building a sales system when you're out on your own. If you've never done it before, not everybody is just going to willingly work with you, right? So there's that misconception of when something's handed to you as opposed to when you've had to work for it. So you're out on your own, you have to build a structure around your day to hit sales in some way, shape, or form, right? I am a personal fan of cold calling. I would rather have you tell me no to my face right away than just passive aggressively never responding to my emails or anything else. Just tell me no, right? Like, and I feel like truly this is why I love cold calling. It's the fastest way to a no than the alternative of, you think you're making progress with somebody, but you're actually not making progress with them, right? And again, you got to choose a number to follow every single day, okay? Whether it's 10 cold calls a day to start, 15 cold calls, 20 cold calls, whatever that looks like, you guys, you have to start somewhere. You have to hold yourself accountable to hitting that number every single day, okay? Because there's going to be days that the literal last thing you want to do is do and get rejected, right? Because like that is the reality. 99% of the time, you guys, you're going to get told no. 99% of the time, there is no response. And it's that silence, again, back to what I was saying earlier, is very deafening. And then your mindset starts to question things like, hey, did I make a wrong mistake here? Did I do the wrong thing? Should I actually be doing this? Am I cut out for it? And I feel like that is an area that gets most people to quit right away is that first adversity. They don't even get to the second adversity, right? It's that first one of stopping yourselves in your tracks because holy shit, the people on the internet said this was supposed to be easy and I was going to make all this money, but my accounts didn't follow me, or maybe they didn't all, a couple of did, and now I'm not making as much money as I had thought, and fuck it, I'm just going to quit and go back and take a salary somewhere, right? That's what gets most people, you guys. It truly does. I've seen it happen a lot. All right. I've seen it happen a lot. I've talked to a lot of people about this. And again, if you reach out to me to become self-employed or go out on your own, I will tell you the truth. All right. I will not tell you what you want to hear. All right. I will not tell you what you want to hear because I feel like I would be doing everybody a disservice by lying and saying like, oh, you can do all of this and you can, right? Like you can make a shitload of money out there, you guys, but it's a lot of work. All right. It takes a lot longer than you want and a lot longer than you think. And you need to be financially prepared for that journey. Okay. You have to be willing to empty your 401k if you had a 401k, if that's what's required. You have to be willing to empty your savings account and go down to not knowing how you're going to pay your bills if that's required. Is that going to happen to you? Possibly, possibly not. I don't know. I don't know your financial situation. But again, I'm just letting you know what I went through in my journey here, you guys, because it is not all sunshine and gumdrops, right? Because it's like, a lot of people want to sit there and be like, oh, hustle, work hard. Okay, but what the fuck does that actually mean? Because everybody works hard, right? In their own mind, everybody works hard. Everybody hustles. Everybody does that. But, you can't be expected to be out on your own and expect to only work 8 to 4. All right. Because you're not going to make it if you think that you can build something of substance by only working 8 to 4. All right. Because I mean, shit, man, I wish I would only be working 8 to 4 some days. Right. But it's like most of my days start at 5 a.m., you guys, and they go till about 6 o'clock at night. All right. And I'm not saying this is like I'm bragging on it, but that's the reality, you guys. I have customers all across the country. They start as early as 5 a.m. most days and they go till about 6 p.m. every single day. That's time away from my family. That's time away from doing other things. And from my perspective, you guys, again, like this is just what is required to do it, right? Now, again, if you want to go out on your own and create a little lifestyle business and whatever number it is, maybe you don't want to build a big company. Maybe you just want that personal freedom and, you just want to make 6 figures and cool. Like you can do that. And maybe you can do that working 8 to 4. All right. But like, if you want to go to different levels out there, you guys, it's going to be a lot. You're going to work a lot longer than you think, and you're going to work a lot harder than you think for that. All right. So I want to talk about another very, very, very important factor behind this. It's going to boil down to your mindset. All right. That's probably one area that I have invested at this point, probably $40,000, no joke, since I went out on my own is mindset and like being around other entrepreneurs. All right. So I am involved in a group called the Arete Syndicate. If you're going to think about going out on your own, you guys, I would definitely be around other entrepreneurs because like they are going to help you. I am very, very, very fortunate to have individuals who have been guests on my show, who have become friends of mine, who I can reach out to when I don't know what the fuck to do. All right. When I don't know if I should continue to go on and stuff like that. Right. Because I'm human, you guys. I go through all of those exact same emotions. All right. I'm not immune to that. So it's kind of getting in that and working on that environment. Reading books has been, it sounds so simple, you guys, but it's probably been the most effective thing that I have done outside of surrounding myself with other entrepreneurs who have been down that path and like fucked up way worse and cost them way more money than I have yet at this time, right? So there's that perspective that comes along with it. But a lot of it boils down to, reading those books that are out there. And I post a lot of them and, read lists and stuff like that and the books that I've read. And at the end of every single year, I publish what books I read that year and then like the audio books that I've listened to. And it's just one of those things where, there's a lot of great resources that are out there, but surrounding yourself with people who want more for themselves is very, very crucial for you to make this work if you're going to go out on your own. And I'm seeing some comments come through here. Justin McAfee, what is going on? Corey Buchan, Carlos Rodriguez, my man, Sage Outcast. Yeah, Sage, it was our conversation last night, dude, that really inspired this one today, man, and talking about a lot of that. But we got to wait for your episode to come out before we say any of those situations. But no, man, it was a very impactful conversation on some of those things and talking about the realities of it, because it's not just hustle at the end of the day. It's not just hustle that you need to make it work out there. So again, back to that mental side of things, you guys, in building up that mental strength, I think is extremely overlooked in a lot of situations. And again, when you're around other entrepreneurs, when you're around other people who do some hard things, everything goes into perspective here, you guys, because it's like at the end of the day, at least for me, you guys, the work, the freight, that's the easy part. All right. The freight to me is the easy part. Cold calling, selling, that's the easy part of this business. Or in business, right? But it's all the other stuff behind the scenes. And a lot of it, 90% of it, at least for me, is the battle that I fight in between my ears, and that's the battle that you will ultimately have to overcome more than not if you're going to go out on your own and make this work and build this up, because you can do it, right? Like, I'm not here to stop anybody from going out and fighting for what they want, building a better life for their loved ones and everything. I love it. I hope you guys go out there and do all of that. But again, I feel like it is my responsibility to tell the real side of a lot of this stuff that most people that you will see on social media will not talk about. Ironically, they only talk about how better they are than everybody else. And 99% of them, you guys, are full of shit. All right. I will say it. And those people who only post their highlight reel can see this and hear this and tell me to fuck myself. And that's fine. You can do that, but you're not that good. All right. Because nobody has it all figured out. The real successful people that I know always talk about the challenges that they've overcome and how hard it is for them. And, now like their challenges are a lot different because they've been through that early gauntlet. They figured out a lot of that stuff. They've built a system, they've built the structure, and then now they're just making, incremental changes to their day-to-day to increase their productivity and everything else. Right. So there is a period that you're going to go through that I'm discussing right here, but eventually you kind of figure it out, and then things start rolling and things start moving. And then you're like, all right, cool. You catch some momentum. And then, again, and then there's that point where you're like, things start to work out and you'll get there. Right. But you're going to go through some shit to get to that point, you guys. And And it's not you. And that's like ultimately, if you're still listening to this at this point, whether you're hearing it on the audio only replay later on, and you're still listening to this point, there is a point in time that comes where things start to work out, right? It's not all negative and everything. But again, you got to build that system and that structure to follow of keeping yourself on point day in and day out. It's going to take a lot longer than you think. All right. But eventually things do start to work out. You're going to have to invest a lot more time, a lot more resources than you might want or might even have money for at that time. And again, back to my point earlier, don't quit your day job until you have a sustainable business that at least has some real revenue coming in. I think that's people that go away from it too soon, where it's like, oh, hey, I've been doing this job, for 2 years. I'm going to go out on my own now, and to each their own. But like, think twice before you walk away from that money, because money goes really fast when you're on your own, you guys. All right. It goes really fast. And you just need to be very prepared for what you're about to embark upon. All right. Because at the end of the day, some of the people that you look up to and admire out there in the market, and they are successful, because there are a ton of people who are very successful that post a lot of great content out there, you guys. But they're a lot further ahead in your journey, and you cannot compare yourself to somebody who's been doing this for 30, 40 years, and you're only at year 5. And I'll use myself as an example, because this is something that I've had to overcome. I'm only at year 5. I can't look at the guys who are at year 20, 25, 30 and be like, why am I not there yet? All right. Because they've gone through a lot more. They've worked a lot longer at it and everything else, because that's realistically it. And that was one thing that I had read in one of the books. Hold on, let me try and find it here, you guys. It was late last year. I want to tell you what this one is, because I completed it and it really helped me out. It was Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. Highly recommend that book, especially if you're going to think about going out on your own. But it had said, stop comparing your results today to the results of what it will take 30 years to build. That was very freeing for me. All right. Because now I look at a lot of these individuals who are 25 years ahead, 20 years ahead of me, and I know that in due time, I will be there, as long as I have that system and that structure that I work in every single day to make sure I'm moving that needle forward just a little bit more. Know when to pivot if things aren't working out. And again, you'll figure all of this out as it comes, because day 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, fuck, where I'm at right now, I don't have it all figured out. I'm learning new stuff every single day, you guys. And I'm in a unique spot because I got a podcast here that a lot of people like to listen to, which I'm very, very grateful for. But this took a very long time to build to get it to this point. And I just want you guys to know that with hard work, that system and that structure, you can achieve it, right? But you just need to be very aware of what you're going to get yourself into out there before you take the leap and maybe create some irreversible things that, financially and everything else. Because again, it's going to be expensive. All of that stuff is going to happen. But I just want you to be very aware of what you're going to get yourself into when you go out on your own. Because is it worth it? Fuck yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it every second of every single day. And I am so fortunate that I jumped out on my own and did it. But it is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And it's still very, very challenging for me. But I'm committed. And you guys can be too, as long as you're aware of what you're going to get yourself into out there. But that will be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. If you're feeling really ambitious after this one, which I hope you are, and you haven't ranked the show yet, you guys rank it on iTunes and Spotify, because if you saw value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.